Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Jason Bradford, and he played Troy Oelke in 13 Fanboy. Hey Jason, how are you doing?
I am good, Slasher Sky. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm glad to have you on. I watched 13 Fanboy on Halloween, and I really enjoyed it.
It's a perfect day for it. What'd you think?
Absolutely.
What was your favorite part of the movie? Did you enjoy the most?
I like the twist ending. I really like the twist ending.
Yes, that was
Pretty wild. I didn't
surprising.
expect it.
Yes, it was a nice unforeseen twist. Deborah's all about
Yes.
twists and turns and surprising things, which is
Yes.
full of
I
all
did
of them.
not expect that. And Debbie Sue Voorhees did an amazing job putting it
Yes,
together. So
he did.
I'm very glad that this was a nice treat, nice tribute for the Friday the 13th fans.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so the first question I got for you is how did you get your start into acting?
Well, I lived probably about 20 years ago. I lived in Livonia, Michigan, and there was a production team, a married couple by the name of Tommy and Todd Brunswick with Crossbow Entertainment.
Mhm.
Um, and I was friends with one of their screenwriters, and he told me, "Hey, we're looking for extras. Why don't you come show up, be on the set?" And they did a close up of me, and I had a reaction shot, and
Mhm.
it was all pretty exciting.
Nice.
I interviewed with them to be part of their next project called the remake, which it didn't happen. I couldn't get the time off of work,
Mm.
so but that's how. And then I've always had the bug. I took theater in college for a couple semesters, um, and then I just on Facebook got
Thanks.
involved with Deborah's group, and um, she announced 13 Fanboy, and there was a lot of possibilities with that for the fans to be involved. So
Right. So, for those unaware, what is 13 Fanboy about? Can you give us a brief synopsis about it?
yeah, 13 Fanboy is about a kid who grows up in a basement. His parents are very, I'll just say they're not very good parents. They pretty much neglect him and lock him in the basement, and all he has are his movies, Friday
Mhm.
the 13th and Halloween and other horror films, and that's all he has. So that's his world, that's his life, and he thinks it's real that these cast members are his friends. So growing up, flash forward so many years, he truly believes they're his friends, and when he isn't getting the friendship that he wants from them, he
Mhm.
reacts in a very unfavorable way.
Yeah.
He stalks them and he dispatches of them in very interesting ways, and anybody who gets in his way also gets a gruesome ending.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very real. Like that's what makes it scary. Like with Halloween, it's real
Yes,
because anybody can
yes,
just stalk you and watch your every move and then kill you. And the same thing with
yes,
this. Like you can get those real fans. Like Adrienne King got that already. She got this treatment and
yes.
she was supposed to be in this project and she dropped
Yeah,
out because it was so real.
it was too scary for her to relive,
Mhm.
and you get that a lot. A lot of the cast members actually have had real life experiences with some crazed fans, some stalkers. Laura Park Lincoln
Mhm.
had one. Um, for months, she was tormented by the stalker, and she didn't know who he was. And come to find out, he had been living in her attic,
Oh my God.
and she was shot at. And Judy Aronson was stalked, and
Wow.
um, I know Danielle Harris, who's not in 13 Fanboy, she's been stalked. A lot of horror icons have to
Mhm.
live with this, and it's dangerously scary.
Mhm.
And actually, it was the inspiration for 13 Fanboy was an experience that Deborah herself had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. It's really insane how far people actually take things like this. Like, what do you think the end game is going to be? That they're going to be like, "Oh, I'll sign you anything you have." Like, what do you think the end game for this is going to be? It's not going to end well for the stalker,
No, not. And the question is it going to end well for the stalker in this movie, or is it going to continue on into a franchise, a
right?
trilogy? Will there be different stalkers, different plots, different cast members,
Hmm.
different franchises that are involved in this? I was
Hmm.
kidding around with Deborah, and I said, "Why don't you do a Halloween knockoff or not a knockoff, but a Halloween-inspired Fanboy and call it 31 Fanboy.
Nice.
Flip it.
That'd be
Then we get
awesome.
Danielle Harris involved, and maybe, who knows, Jamie Lee Curtis, if we get that budget. I know she'd be really expensive though, so
Yeah,
pipe
that would be
dream.
awesome.
But Danielle Harris, maybe, why not?
Yeah, PJ Souls, Nancy
PJ Souls,
Loomis,
yes.
Nancy Keys. Yeah,
Yes,
that'd be
Sandy.
awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be actually pretty cool. I actually really
Yeah.
like that idea. So, how did you happen to become part of 13 Fanboy?
Well, I started just doing a lot of promoting and sharing for Debra, and I got more people involved when we created a team, and I became her director of public relations. So that was fun. I was a creative consultant for 13 Fanboys, so I got to be very involved early on with a lot of things and a lot of feedback and conversations. And I was on my way. I'll never forget where I was the day Debra asked me if I wanted to be a security guard. She says, "Hey," actually, when I read the screenplay early on, and just kidding around with her, I said, "Hey, there's this two characters in Tracie Savage's scene, because part 3 is my favorite. So I thought if I could be in a scene with Tracie Savage, how awesome would that be?" So just fooling around with Debra on a conversation, I said, if you ever need anyone who you'd be interested to play your security guard or your janitor, let me know. I would love to be either one of them, just so I could be in Tracie's scene. And we laughed about it. And then about 3 or 4 months later, I was on my way to the doctor's office. I'm sitting in my doctor's parking lot, and I'm talking to her on the phone. She goes, "So how would you like to be the security guard?" I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. So I would get a list of names that I could be the security guard named after, and Troy Oelke was on there, and he's a friend of mine. I thought, man, I would be so honored to be able to have Troy's name on my costume for this movie. So she's, yeah, Troy Oelke is a good one. So it just went from there.
That's awesome.
About a week before we filmed, though, I had really long hair at the time, and Debra wanted me to like really shave my hair short. And I said, "Look, I've been taking pills and I've been growing my hair out." And I said, "What if I just got a hat, more security hat?" She said, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." So of course on set, Nora's like, "No, you can't wear a hat because you're gonna get killed in a way that you can't have a hat on." And at one point, Debra says, "Well, do you want to play the janitor?" And I said, "No, we'll see what happens." And I ended up keeping the security guard, and I'm glad I did, because it was a really fun experience. And Debra posed me in a certain way, and I had to lay like that for a really long time. And working with Nora and Debra and Rich and everyone that was on this. Rich is Debra's husband, but everyone that was on the set that day, it was really unforgettable. And I ramble, but it was a really fun experience. I was cleaning blood out of my ear for probably 2 weeks after that. I don't like anything in my ear, and when Debra told Nora, "Pour more blood in his ear," I thought, oh shit. I had to just lay there and take it like a good death.
Oh boy, that's funny. Yeah, and yeah, Troy Oelke, he's good people. I really love Troy Oelke. He's a great guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And I mean, the name alone is iconic. I love that name, Troy Oelke, you know?
Yes. I know a lot of people butcher it. I've heard him called Oliek, Troy Oelke. And I'm like, I talked to him one day. I'm like, "Tell me specifically, how do you pronounce your last name?" And he says, "Elk," with an E at the end. I'm like, okay, that's easy to remember. So
yep, there you go. He's a good guy, and I had him on my show.
Very, very talented. He does do a voiceover in 13 Fanboy as well.
Nice.
When Kelsey runs into her, it's just after the convention scene, when Kelsey's in her hotel room and the picture slides under the door and she calls security. The voice on the phone is Troy.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I had Troy on my show. He's actually my longest interview at 2 hours, nice. 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. Nice. Yeah, we talked about every single Friday the 13th movie and every theory he has for every single plot line.
Yes, I saw him do an interview once, and where he said that and this was years ago. This was before 13 Fanboy. He said in the interview that his dream was to be directed by Debra Voorhees.
Oh, nice.
And I thought, when he got the voiceover part in it, I thought, oh, he got to be directed by Debra Voorhees.
Yeah.
Because of course, even though it was a voiceover, she still directed him on how to deliver the lines and what lines to say and how to say it. I had voiceover in the movie too, playing Kelsey's agent. It didn't make the final cut, but that was a fun experience too, recording the lines and sending them over and stuff. I did see it in the original cut when we were going over notes and stuff like that. So that
Nice.
was thrilling. But I play Jason Voorhees. How fucking cool is that? I'm sorry. My
No,
mouth,
you're fine.
I have a Jamie Lee Curtis mouth. I'm sorry. I try not.
You're fine. You're fine.
How cool is that? I play Jason Voorhees in 13 Family.
Absolutely.
It's in writing. It's permanent. It's there forever.
Absolutely. Exactly. So what was the best part about filming 13 Fanboy, and what was the worst?
The best part that I remember was meeting the celebrities that I have admired for so long. My first starstruck moment was we were filming Corey Feldman's scene, and I didn't know, and I knew the whole cast. I knew this movie inside and out when we went to New Mexico. I thought I did anyway. And I'm sitting there in the door. We're in the police station. We're filming the police scenes, and the door opens and Debra Sullivan walks in from Secret Santa. And I looked over at the production assistant that was sitting next to me. I said, "Oh my God, Debra Sullivan just walked through the door. I had no idea she was gonna be here." I kind of panicked and got that starstruck "don't say anything stupid" mode in my head because I didn't want to appear stupid. But probably about an hour into the day after she arrived, I just looked at her and said, "I love Secret Santa." And before I knew it, she's like, "Hey, can I take your picture with me?" So she asked me for that picture. That was my first unforgettable great moment on location. Cackle Queen, yes. And my second favorite is Jennifer Banko.
Nice.
She was amazing. We spent hours and hours on the road, and one day after shooting, it was probably about 1 o'clock. We finished, and I did transportation, so I was taking her back to her hotel.
Nice.
I got lost.
Ooh.
I was in New Mexico with a broken GPS, and I'm from Detroit, so I have no idea where I'm at. And I have Jennifer Banko in my Jeep with me, and we're just driving around probably about a good hour and a half before I'm like, "Oh, this is familiar. I think I know where I'm at." And I finally got her to her hotel, but we were lost in New Mexico, so that was
nice.
That was fun.
Nice.
A good memory.
Nice. I have actually a true story about Jennifer Banko. My parents, before my dad, he passed away back in August. Actually, it's 3 months today actually that he passed. But he passed away. But this is a year before he was diagnosed with brain cancer. Like this is probably going 6 years ago. So here, they went to. No, you're fine.
I'm sorry. I'm just moving the dog out of the room. Sorry.
That's fine. Good.
Sorry, I have some roofers here, and I think they're finishing up. So
not a problem. Not a problem. So my parents they went to Hawaii with my aunt and family and some family friends, and she was working and living in Hawaii at the time. I believe she was working at the Rock Hard Cafe. And I messaged her on my Facebook, and I'm like, "Hey Jennifer, I know you don't really know me, but my parents are in Hawaii. I was wondering if you would be able to get a picture with them for me because I'm not in Hawaii. I have to dog sit. So I was wondering if you can get a picture of my parents." She messaged me right back. She's like, "Absolutely, I would love to. I work this day, this time on these days at the Hard Rock Cafe." And so they got a picture with her and everything, and they sent me it. And then I got a phone call from my dad, and I'm like, "Hey Dad, how was it meeting her?" And she's like, "This isn't your dad." I'm like, "Jennifer?" She's like, "You got it."
Nice. She is so sweet and funny. She was the funniest person there. And I believe today is her birthday, so happy birthday, Jennifer, if you want.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, and I've been trying to get her on my show for a while now. I know things haven't been working out yet with timing and scheduling and everything, and I've been booked up, all this month and starting to book up next month. So I usually book really advanced. I'm trying to get her on. I just booked. I had a squeeze in Susan Blue, also from Part 7.
Wonderful, yes.
Yeah, so I just squeezed her in for Thursday. I found a time slot that's really slim with an interview that's like an hour after that. But she's a very nice lady, and she had an amazing part in 13 Fanboy as well. And I actually, I thought she did a good job. So
I was watching her perform. I don't want to give anything away, but I'll say her damsel in distress moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I almost let it slip.
Yeah. But yeah, just watching her perform, I remember just turning to someone, looking at them, and saying, "How does she do that?
Yeah,
why does she make it look so believable when it's not?" And it was great watching her work.
Yeah, Absolutely, and she's very talented. She was obviously in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I believe the third one,
Yes.
and she was
Barbed
in
wire.
huh?
Barbed wire.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And she was obviously in part seven. She had a small role in Friday the 13th. She had a small role in Married with Children. So very
Yes.
talented
The Girl
actor.
Scout. The Girl Scout cookie.
Yeah,
Selling cookies. I don't think she was a Girl Scout. I think she was a knockoff for
yeah, I think so.
reasons on the show. But
That was
yeah,
funny.
it was
That
good.
was
I think
funny.
I think she had said something in an interview once. This might even been a conversation we had when we were on the road. I don't remember. We talked about a
Mhm.
lot of stuff, but she had mentioned the Married with Children and how she had filmed a scene that got cut from her original episode, but the producer and the casting people liked her so much they asked her to come back and play that cookie scout.
Nice,
Yeah, so
nice.
for another episode. So I believe that's how the story went.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So obviously, we know that Debbie Sue Voorhees, had a small role in the 13 Fanboy, and she also directed it. So how was she as a director?
She I use the word choreographed a lot with her. She would choreograph her scenes. She was very detailed with how she
Mhm.
wanted it set up and performed, and it was I learned so much watching her. um, she was really inspirational to see how the process played out from the beginning to the end. And it's funny you say she had a little part in this. And I all I can think of is, oh my God, she had a monumental part.
Yeah.
Her scene in the movie is it's kind of, I call it the Drew Barrymore
Yep.
scene. But she she we would work 16-hour days. We'd have to be on set sometimes at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and we'd have to drive an hour to get there. So we'd be up like 1:30 in the morning to travel to a
Yeah.
different location to
Yep.
shoot, and then we'd have to drive back, and we would be up for like 16-hour days, and we would go crash for
Mm.
5-6 hours. But she would stay awake and she would continue to work, planning for the next day and doing what she had to do to end the day
Yeah.
that we thought. She would literally work 20-hour days, 21. She would sleep 2 to 3 hours a night for 3 weeks straight. So this was just a July shoot. So I would imagine she did it again during the January shoot. So she really talked about putting blood, sweat, and tears into it. She was
Yeah.
just, yeah, she put all her energy into this.
Mhm. And it's her baby, so I don't blame her. You
It's
know what
her
I mean?
baby.
Like she was making a movie, and it definitely shows all that hard work paid off.
Yes, it did, and we're hoping for a sibling to her baby soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We should throw like I really like that idea. 31 Fanboy. I like that. We need to get her to do that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So, um, do you have any like other interesting or memorable stories about your time on set?
yeah. There was when we were filming Tracie's scene.
Mhm.
Uh, how do I say this without any spoilers? Um, Tracie, maybe I shouldn't go into this one. Yeah, I'm gonna back out of this. I don't know how to say it without spoilers, but I'll tell you personally after the interview.
Okay.
But there was another good scene when we were shooting Jimmy the janitor scene, and
Mhm.
Nora Hewitt had the air compressor so filled with blood, and that it was turned up so high that when Vincent did what he had to do with,
Mhm.
I'll just say the mop handle. Viewers can use their imagination from that. Um, but he counted three. He says, "All right, Nora, I'm going to put the mop handle up through where he had to put it." And Nora had to, on three, had to do the compressor of blood, and
Right.
it shot so high. When we filmed this in the college hallway in Ruidoso, and it shot so high it hit the ceiling. And
Wow.
now you're talking about college ceilings that are like really high up there,
Yeah.
and it was quite the adventure getting it clean.
Whew.
And I'll tell you what, blood does not come easily off of any surface, whether it be
Nope.
carpet or hard floor. When it's not, we weren't talking like that $5 red gallon blood from Walmart for Halloween. This was Nora's private recipe, and it flowed and it looked like real blood.
Right.
He told me the ingredients in it, and I was like, "Really? That's what you make that out of?" I would have guessed it in a million years.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, with our indie films, I'm sure it's way different than hers. We sometimes we use a dishwashing liquid,
Mm-hmm.
and other times we'll use just red gelatin and corn syrup.
Yeah, see, that's that kind of blood you want to put in your mouth.
Yep. Yeah, I know that when we filmed our first movie, Samhain, when we used when one of the actors had to have he had to get a knife up through his throat and out through his mouth, and
Nice.
when we put the blood in, it was the dishwashing blood, and
Yeah.
he's gagging on. He's like he was really gagging on it, and after because it was like that nasty, that aftertaste, that taste
Yes.
dish detergent. And then like after we finished the scene and everything, he went to the bush and he started throwing it up because it was
Oh
so
yeah, that
nasty.
doesn't sound pleasant at all.
Yep.
No, why didn't you use a gelatin and cornstarch for him? Was it
Yep.
maybe we didn't like him?
Oh yeah, I know, right?
I'll show that asshole here. Take the Dawn dish soap.
Exactly. We start that was actually before we started moving to the gelatin. When he told us how bad the aftertaste was, we were like, yeah, let's stick with the gelatin. Let's go to the
Yeah.
gelatin and the red dye and the corn syrup and make that work. That was the way that had to go. So for those that want to see 13 Fanboy, where can they go and see this movie and watch it?
They can go. I have it on Vudu. It's also on Amazon. You can get it from Xbox, Peacock. Oh man, Comcast, Xfinity, I think has it on their platform. There's several. I'll shoot you over if you want. You can
All right.
go after.
Yep. Absolutely. I know I got it on Amazon Prime, and you can either rent or buy it on there. I recommend buying it because it's not that much more money to buy it, and you have it for life. You don't have like 30 days to watch it. Once you start it, you got 48 hours.
And here's a good point. If you're gung ho on strictly on the Friday the 13th because of whether it be Jason or the music or the scenery or whatever, and if you watch 13 Fanboy, realize that no matter what you think of 13 Fanboy, it's a complementary piece to the Friday the 13th franchise. So it would really be a shame not to own it.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
To tie into that franchise, and it complements it so well.
Completely agree. So the last question I got for you is, do you have any other projects in the works that you would like to promote to the listening and viewing audience?
I do actually have a few things in the works.
Nice.
I wrote a short script called Bitch.
Okay.
It's your ordinary everyday love story between a man and his werewolf. And that will be made into a graphic novel.
Nice.
I wrote another short script called Who Is It? And Bitch as well has been getting some very good attention from the convention's finalist status at Shriekfest to both of those. So that was really exciting. I'll be submitting Who Is It and another short that I wrote called Lavinia to a new filmmaking company that I just learned about today. He actually asked me to send it to him, so nice. I'll be sending it out and see where that goes. Nice. So it's exciting. I'm working on another one right now called In the Shadow of the Vampire. I like lots of twists and turns and surprise endings. I always call a surprise ending the Saw ending because remember when the first time you saw the original Saw and he stood up at the end. I love that kind of ending, so I'm hoping for that kind of ending with In the Shadow of the Vampire. So.
Nice, awesome. Well, I thank you so much, Jason, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, not a problem. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, thanks. Bye.